Hey guys, and how's it going? Maniac Mower here. We are going to go on ahead and continue on with this John Deere 1 and 200 series playlist that I'm doing, talking about the differences between the John Deere 100 series from the 110s, 112s, and then also the round fenders. I just finished the video on the 68, that's why it's sitting in there on the forklift still. I have not brought it back in yet. So we are going to go on ahead and do a video on the 73 112, what all changed from 68 all the way to 71 to 72, and then in 74 there was a lot more differences done and a new lift type added on. So let's go on ahead and dive into it, and I will tell you guys everything you need to know. So we are going to go on ahead and start with the 73. Now I'm sure you guys notice a lot of differences between them, this 73 and my 68 already. Probably the first one being the manual PTO arm right here. In 72, they ended up moving the manual PTO from down there to up here to make it easier to grab. And then also in 72, they added the second brake pedal. This right here is your brake pedal. That one over there is your clutch. What else? They also moved your parking brake from over there to over here. And if I'm correct, they also moved the, no they didn't, never mind. The amp meter's in the same place it was before. You may notice this track, oh, you know what, I'll save that until we're on the other side. Variator is in the same place as it was before. This tractor has a mower deck on it. That is the 47-inch deck, the 3-blade. I will make a video on them. I do not have a 38-inch mower deck at the moment, so I really can't make a video on it at the moment. Moving on to our PTO clutch setup. Battery lights flashing. In 1972, you could either get a electric PTO or a manual PTO. My 72 112 I used to have had manual electric PTO. And it also had electronic lift. This right here is your PTO clutch. As you can see, right here is your clutch, right here is your arm. Clutch is different. As you can see, you've got bolts now. That is because this outer pulley right here is actually removable. If you don't plan on having a snowblower up here or a generator, you can take this off, and it's got a weight underneath there. For if you don't have this pulley on there, you don't need to have the pulley if you don't want to. The arm changed, and it stayed the same all the way up to the 200 series. Muffler changed as well. The 72s had a different muffler than the earlier ones did. And this muffler style went all the way to 74. I do not have a 1974 that I can show you guys, but the manual lift, the manual PTO arm was different on the 74s than it is the 73s. And if I'm correct, it was different on the 72s as well. This 112 features the electric lift. That's actually pretty nice, and I will show you guys that here later. Is there anything else on this side that I want to point out and show you guys that's different? Oh, this right here is what holds on your cover, your side cover for the PTO. Before, they had a little thing coming off right here that came out to about right here. And that's where your side cover for your PTO went. Now it goes into these two things right here. So you just take your, and that's the inside of your cover for those of you wondering. So then you just take your cover, put it in that hole first, put it in this hole, push until it locks into this bottom hole. That's it. It's in. On the later 112s, they only had a brake on this side. The clutch was on the other side and the brake was on this side. So, okay. Let's start with the top and work our way down. In 1974, or whenever they changed it, I think it was the earlier 70s or maybe 69, they ended up changing to the two-legged Deere, as you can see, and it says John Deere. That's normal. This is your headlight bezel right here. As you can see, I've got headlights. Going down, 1972, they ended up changing to this style of grill. This grill, you do not have to open the hood anymore to take it out. All you do is push it in like that and pull it out. That's how it works. It's got these two little tabs right here, this tab here, this tab here. You just bend it, push it in, and it will hold like that. Another thing about the 70s in 1972 that changed, they have little pins that go inside of a bracket in the hood support, and it comes off like that. That's how you remove your hood. I'll demonstrate that later. Another thing that I failed to point out on the 73 is over here there is not a muffler bolt, a muffler hole for your exhaust to come out of. In 73 they didn't need that because the muffler was up here. Going down. And this is the exact same as on the 68 112. Right here is your belt tensioner for your mule drive. This right here is your lawnmower plate, as you can see. This right here is for your snow plow, to lift and lower a snow plow, these two little extensions. This setup, as I showed in 1968, they had the front lift piece that bolted to the frame. This one actually has a piece that hangs off of the frame already that's not bolted on, it's welded on by the factory. And it holds right here, and it hangs, and then this piece that hangs down hooks up to it. I do not have another one of them off camera or off a tractor I can show you, but I have shown you guys mounting one of these. I'll leave a link to the video up here so you guys can see it. I did it on my patio. I'll show you guys how to hook up the front lift linkage. And then going down, this right here is your mower deck draft plate I was talking about in the video on the 68, where I was telling you guys right here is where your mower deck mounts to. So for those of you guys wondering, that's where it mounts to. Then right here holds a snow plow or a snow blower or whatever you put on the front. And I think that is about it. Here is another thing different about the 1970s, the 1972 model, the later 112s and 110s up against the earlier 110s and 112s right here. As you can see, this is thinner, and there is also a bolt right here. In 1972, they went from the threaded shaft with the nut, they went to the unthreaded shaft. It's just a solid shaft, there's no threading on it or anything, and it's got a hole in the center that's threaded, and you bolt a bolt into it, and that holds it in place. Don't matter how tight or how loose, or don't matter how tight it is, it won't stop the wheel from turning. But previously, when you had it too tight, it would stop turning on the tapered shaft. That's what that was called. Grease fitting in the rim as well. Those are very nice to have. I keep that greased. And that, I just wanted to show you guys that. But it also has a bigger shaft. As you can see, the hub, this has a bigger shaft on it. This is a 1-inch shaft, if I'm correct. I think the previous one was 1 1/4. So, was a 1/4-inch shaft. So that's the differences. Another difference to add to your chart. Okay, so let's go on ahead and point out some more differences. We are currently on the left side of the tractor. Right here, as you can see, your clutch pedal design has changed. It is not a flat piece anymore, it is triangle. And it's a lot smaller. 1972 through 74, they upgraded the engines This is a 12 horse Kohler. In 1972, they introduced the 12 horse Kohler that you could get for your 110, or not 110, 112. And in 72, they also introduced the 10 horse Kohler for the 110s. You could also get the 8 horse Kohler if you wanted to. And on the 112s, if you wanted to, you could still get the 10 horse Kohler, or you could also get the Tecumseh. The Tecumseh is not very common on the later 112s. I don't know when they quit making Tecumsehs, but I know they're not as common on these later ones as they were on the earlier ones. Snap ring in the rear wheel, same as on the 68 model year. Underneath the seat there is not a fill tube, unfortunately, for the transmission, so that makes it a little bit harder to fill. Mower deck is a 47-inch deck. As you can see, this one has a cover over it. Gear shifter is a 4-speed transmission, same as in the 68, and also right there is your deck height adjuster. Now, as you guys might notice, there is no deck lift right here. That is because this is an electric lift. This right here is your lift, and I will show you guys that here in a minute. This right here is your dash tower on the 1972 all the way to 1974 model years. You can see right here is your amp meter. Choke, throttle. Choke is actually smaller range than it was on the older ones. Down here, your light switch used to be over here where the PTO is. Now it's down here. This right here is your light switch. And right next to it is also your cigarette lighter port. You could put a cigarette lighter right there if you wanted to. Lift, this is your deck lift, up or down. This is your background. They changed the background from saying variable speed to 12 horse John Deere 112. And there's your amp meter. The amp meter were differently designed in 68 compared to the 73, and if I'm correct, the voltmeter should be on this side on the 68s, I think. Let me go look. Okay, also another difference between the 73 or the earlier 112s compared to the later 112s is the amp meter moves from this side to that side. So there's another thing that is different about them also. And I think that is just about it when it comes to it. Maybe not. Okay, I guess that about sums it up. Okay, so this is the back end of my 1973. As you can see, there is the 2 holes right here to put a hitch plate. This hitch plate is welded to the frame, to the back plate of the tractor, so therefore I do not need one. You probably noticed the frame on this tractor is painted black. That was done by the previous owner. I'm not sure why, but I actually think it looks really cool. And I like the look of the black frame compared to the green frame when it comes to this tractor. I am looking for a can of black paint. I might end up repainting this, I might not. In 1972, the later tractors had wider rear rims. These are 23 10 50 12 rims, and tires where previously they were 23 850s. So that's something to keep an eye out for on the later tractors. These are bar tires compared to the turf tires that I have on my 67 ground fender. On this tractor as well, the front tires are the same size as they are on the 68 112. This tractor has rear lights, as you can see. If you didn't have headlights, you wouldn't have rear tail lights, you would have reflectors instead of tail lights. Hubs are the same, everything is about the same. This is where your rear lift linkage would go. If you had rear lift linkage, I do have rear lift linkage, but not on this tractor. It is on a different tractor. And I think that is about it. So let's go on ahead and we will show the lift. Okay, so here's the thing I know you all are excited for. In 1963 or 1972, John Deere introduced the electric lift, and I will show you guys that. Here is a demo of that hood. Also, here's an example of how to take it off compared to the earlier ones. That was harder to do than on the earlier ones. Putting it on is simple too. It's a harder job than taking it off. And I'll show you guys that right now. As you can see. Wow. The electric lift on the John Deere's is basically the exact same thing as the hydraulic lift, all except for you do not have a pump. There is no pump. That is because the cylinder is drawn by an electric motor down underneath the tractor, right at the lift cylinder. Personally, I prefer the manual lift over the hydraulic lift and electric lift, but the electric lift is actually very nice to have when you have a plow on the back or something on the back of the tractor that you need to lift. It's a lot easier to do than the manual lift. Now the helper spring on the 68 does help a hell of a lot with lifting stuff like that. In the late 70s, I'm not sure about hydraulic lift. I don't think it was as common as it was prior to. I think the electric lift kind of took it over. So the electric lift, like I said, was introduced in 1972. I'm not going to put this tractor up on the forklift because we don't really need to see underneath of it. There's not much that has changed on this tractor compared to the 68, all except for the steering. The steering, there is an axle or a shaft right here that comes straight off of the gearbox of the steering box, and it comes to right here. This goes to this hub wheel hub, whatever you want to call it, and it moves it back and forth, and this tie rod right here takes it to the other side. That setup was started on the 72s, and it was kept all the way up to the 200 and 300 series. Actually, it may not have been on the 300 series. Not sure on that one, but that's how it was on these tractors. On these later 112s. Personal preference between the older 112s and the newer 112s. I like the older 112s better. Now, keep in mind the newer 112s are a lot easier to work on when it comes to taking the hood off of them and taking the grill out, but I do like the older 112s better. Round fenders versus square fenders, I would have to go with square fenders because I've worked on square fenders the most compared to round fenders. The round fenders are just a little bit more complicated, but they are nice, they do look nice, and they have some characteristic behind them. They are nice tractors and I do like them. So, to answer some of your questions. Another thing I didn't point out in the 68 video or the round fender, all you have is a gallon size gas tank. That is it. So, I think that is about it when it comes to everything that you need to know. I will be making a PowerPoint, like I said previously in the 68 video. If it has not been posted yet, it is currently not done, or I am waiting until this video is posted. So, we'll see. Okay, I think that is about it on things that have changed. So, thank you guys for watching. Before I go, this is the steering wheel emblem on the later 112s compared to the earlier 112s. So, okay, well, thank you guys for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you all in the next video. Let me know if you guys want to see more series like this on the John Deere 1 and 200 series garden tractors, and I might make one on the 3 and 400 series garden tractors if I end up getting any. I do have a 317, a frame 317, not a complete 317, but it is something. So, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. 97 or 95% of you guys that watch my videos are not subscribed, so please consider hitting that subscribe button. It tells YouTube that I do a good job and that more people should watch my videos. Also, just leaving a like will help out on the video as well. I keep forgetting to say that. I don't like saying it, but I keep forgetting to tell you guys that. So, thanks for watching and take care.